Yeah, we back. Now today's video is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped about a month ago entitled, Niger Cuts Off the United States Military. Now, in a recent interview with the Western media, the Prime Minister of Niger actually gave his opinion and his analysis of the situation and the reason why the relationship between the two countries has dissolved and crumbled in such a swift and unexpected manner. So today we're going to be talking about that, man. Take a look up on the screen. Niger's Prime Minister blames the United States for the rupture of their military pact. Ali Mohammed Lamine Zain says in an interview that the United States troops stayed on our soil doing nothing while terrorists killed people. Let's jump straight into the article. Niger's Prime Minister blames the United States for the deterioration of relations between the two countries as roughly 1,000 American troops prepare to withdraw from Niamey, that's the capital, in the coming months. Prime Minister Ali Mohammed Lamine Zain told the Washington Post that the United States has tried to dictate what countries Niger can have close relations with and has not justified its military presence, citing an American failure to combat terrorism. Now, if you remember, I dropped a video about, when was that? About 2 weeks ago, take a look up on the screen, entitled, A Major Terrorist Has Been Eliminated by the Forces of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And in that video, I had brought up the point how it's funny, right? For the past 10 years or so, the United States and France were stationed in the region with all their robust and, state-of-the-art equipment. And they couldn't find none of these dusty Arabs in the Sahel. They couldn't find none of them. They couldn't capture none of them. They couldn't get no victory. They couldn't get no major assassination. Nothing. Just wasting resources, taxpayer money, doing nothing. Sitting around jerking off in the military barracks, probably having sex or some stupid shit like that. Right? Not doing nothing of any substance. And then as soon as the Western forces, France and the United States and the United Nations begin to withdraw, now major Islamic State commanders with $5 million bounties on their head are getting captured and assassinated. It's just funny. It's funny to me. It's just funny to me. But anyway, let's continue. Prime Minister Zain compared the failure of U.S. troops to stop a growing terrorist threat in Niger to what he said was a more robust American backing of its allies, Israel and Ukraine, in their respective threats. Now, that's an excellent observation. Shout out to the Prime Minister of Niger for his political astuteness. I gotta give a shout out to him for speaking it like it is, for telling the facts. If you notice, when it comes to nations such as Israel and Ukraine, there's an unlimited military budget, unlimited military assistance, state-of-the-art equipment, the latest technology, unlimited resources available, taxpayer money galore. But when it comes to African nations, it's not the same thing. These traditional Western allies, as they call themselves, they're not going to break open the budget in the same way that they open up the budget for nations such as Ukraine and Israel, etc., because it's two different interests at play. Right? When it comes to Israel and Ukraine, they are truly their military allies, and it shows. But when it comes to African nations, their goals are different. I've even mentioned it in videos before. Their goals are not to improve your military capacity. Their goals are to secure their economic interests for the future. Their goals are to secure the mining concessions. Their goals are to make sure their interests and their influence are maintained on the African continent. That's all it is, man. And it would be counterproductive to them to improve your military capacity, because how will they maintain their influence? How will they maintain their economic interests if you are militarily powerful? It would be counterproductive to their efforts to make sure that you are militarily powerful. So they're going to make sure that you're militarily weak and vulnerable and at their mercy at all times, because that is how they maintain their economic interest and their influence and their power for the next 100, 200, 500 years. Now, let's continue. The Prime Minister said, the Americans stayed on our soil doing nothing while the terrorists killed people and burned towns, he told the Washington Post, that is. It is not a sign of friendship to come on our soil, but let the terrorists attack us. Prime Minister, hey, shout out to the Prime Minister of Niger, man. Hey, telling them white boys in Washington what it is, Like I said before, it's just funny to me how as soon as the French and the Americans were kicked out of the region, now all of a sudden, all the major terrorists, all the Islamic State commanders, they're being captured and assassinated. Wow. So what were you doing for all those years? All those taxpayer dollars. You taking money out of my check every goddamn week, bro. What the fuck? You taking money out of my check, taxing me, all type of crazy shit, and all that money is being sent overseas, and you ain't even doing shit, bro. They probably in the barracks listening to Kendrick Lamar and shit. Like, bro, come on, bro. Y'all niggas ain't doing shit, bro. But like the Prime Minister said, if they really wanted to truly counter terrorism in the region, they could have done it. They could have opened up the budget the same way they did for Ukraine and Israel and all their other major allies, but like I said, they don't view African nations as true allies. They view African nations as vassals. That's what they view them as. They view them as vassals to be exploited, and that's just the fact of the matter. Now let's continue. Prime Minister Zayn also took offense to what he said was the United States officials demanding that Niger not engage with Iran or Russia, two of Washington's adversaries. He claimed that there was an ultimatum to have security with the United States or to be close to Iran and Russia, while pursuing an Iranian deal for uranium would result in American sanctions. Prime Minister Zayn said that Niger has not signed any deal for uranium. Now, if you notice on my channel, I don't talk about Russia at all. I don't feed into Western propaganda at all. I don't waste my time. I don't waste my, I don't waste my breath, blabbing about Russia. Because all of these narratives about Russia are usually coming from the State Department, coming from the Pentagon, coming from, the New York Times. They're not coming from the African nations themselves. So I don't waste my time giving light and giving energy to Western propaganda. And also now you have Iranian propaganda, because I saw in the Western media these alleged these uranium deals. Niger signed deals to sell uranium to Iran. And I didn't talk about that shit because, like I said, these sources are coming out of the Pentagon, the State Department, these Western NGOs and all these Western organizations. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister himself said, we never signed no fucking deal with no Iran. So that's why I don't waste my time with these Western, fear-mongering campaigns, bro, because a lot of this shit is just lies. It's lies. It's fear-mongering, spreading Western propaganda, bullshit coming from the Pentagon and the State Department. I'm going to report what's coming straight from the mouths of the African governments. I'm not going to waste my time talking about what was said in the fucking, New York Times or some stupid shit. Let's continue. Prime Minister Zayn went on to say, "First, you have come here to threaten us in our country. That is unacceptable," he told the Washington Post. "And you have come here to tell us with whom we can have relationships, which is also unacceptable. And you have done it all with a condescending tone and a lack of respect." A U.S. official told the newspaper that Niger was presented with a choice, not an ultimatum. Lies, man. Niggas be lying. Yo, why they be lying, bro? Why you always lying? Bro, always lying, bro. If it's one thing you can count on the Western man to do, the Western man is a fucking liar. The Western man gonna lie to your face, bro. That's like part of Western culture, being a fucking liar. Let's continue. In a response, a U.S. official told the Washington Post that the message relayed to Niger was delivered in a professional manner in response to valid concerns about developments. Lies, boy. Niggas be lying, nigga. Let's continue. Prime Minister Zayn said the United States response to Niger's coup contrasted with the response from Russia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates that had welcomed the new leadership in Niger with open arms. Nigerians were saying, "Americans are our friends. They will help us this time to annihilate the terrorists." But there was radio silence. Prime Minister Zayn told the newspaper, adding that Niger would have not looked to Russia for help if the United States had responded to requests for more support, including for planes, drones, and air defense systems. Now, I might do a pay-per-view video giving my opinion on the pros and cons of African nations buying weapons from Russia. I might do a pay-per-view on that because I'll give my opinion on that eventually. But yeah, like I said, man, it is against Western interests, American interests, French interests to make sure that African nations are militarily powerful, because if African nations are militarily powerful to the highest capacity, how will the Western nations be able to exert their influence on a continent if the African nations can point a gun at their face and say, "Nigga, back the fuck up before I blow you the fuck up"? That's counterproductive to their interests. They want you to be weak, vulnerable, at their mercy. They don't want you to be powerful and confident and ready to conquer, because if you are, how are you going to bow down during negotiations, right? Because if you are powerful, you can pull out your gun and say, "Nigga, back the fuck up, nigga, before I blow you, nigga." You know what I'm saying? So they don't want that. They don't want that. That's why they're not going to give you the military budget they give to Ukraine and Israel. No, you're not going to get the billions of dollars and the latest nuclear submarines and all this shit. No, you're going to get the outdated bullshit from 1975 and, some weak budget, $40 million, some shit like that. You're not going to get the state-of-the-art equipment. Hell nah. Hell nah. And to add insult to injury, when they do provide military assistance, it's going to be so weak and inadequate, they're going to sit in your country for years and years and decades and not accomplish any military objectives. I'm telling you, bro, they're going to sit in your country for decades, squatting on your land, not doing shit. Sitting up in the barracks, jerking off. Anyway, let's continue. Prime Minister Zayn told the Washington Post that after the French withdrew their troops following the coup, Niger was open to keeping the American presence there, but said they failed to reach an agreement for more military resources. Like I said, they don't want you to have the latest equipment, bro. No. Hell nah. They don't give that to the Jewish man and the Ukrainian man. They're not going to give it to the black man. Hell nah. The United States expressed concern about Niger not pushing to restore democracy in the country. See, that is what they're worried about. They want a democratic regime that is open and receptive to Western interests. That is their number one priority. They don't give a fuck about you having the latest military equipment to fight the terrorists. They don't care about that shit, bro. They don't care. The terrorists could blow you away for all they fucking care. They want a regime in place that is receptive to their interests. That is it, and that is all. That is where it starts and that is where it ends. But anyways, man, I just want to give a shout out to the president of Niger, not the president, the prime minister of Niger, for his political astuteness, for his political sophistication in calling out the Western governments and their hypocrisy and their inadequacy and their ineptitude and their uselessness. Shout out to you, big bro. Shout out to you. And, like I said, we need more African leaders, more black leaders like this to tell it like it is, man. Tell it like it is. These Western white boys ain't on shit. Anyways, man, it's your boy NelsonAmadeus, Salim back in the Billy, yes indeed. Cash app up on the screen, and I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching me blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This shit is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and get smack in their faces.